They tell me how it should feel till I live it, it's ideal. Time flies by, only on loan. Now just photos on my phone.
Before we get into the tutorial, there are 3 things you need to know. 1, the written pattern for this design is linked down below in the description. It comes with measurement calculations, stitch diagrams, and super overall in-depth instructions, and a secret coupon code. The second thing you need to know is that this is my first ever custom crochet design, so if you want me to make you this top with your measurements so it fits you perfectly, you can place your order by clicking the link in the description down below. The third thing you need to know is that if you enjoy making cute yet easy crochet designs, then I highly recommend you subscribe so you don't miss out on any of my future tutorials. Okay, without further ado, let's learn how to make this top. For supplies, you'll need a lightweight to medium weight silky textured yarn, a 4mm hook, a measuring tape, scissors, stitch markers, I'm just using bobby pins, and a tapestry needle. Before you start crocheting, make sure to take these 4 measurements. If you plan on wearing this top without a bra, make sure to measure yourself while not wearing one. Measurement calculations can be found in the written pattern linked down below. Start by making a slip knot. Chain the length of measurement A. To do this, bring the yarn over your hook and pull through the loop. While measuring, lie your chain down flat, don't stretch it. Count how many chains you made and write it down. To end your foundation chain, chain 1 and turn over. This is going to be your turning chain. Skip your turning chain and single crochet into the next stitch. To do this, place your hook through the stitch, yarn over, pull through the loop, yarn over, pull through both loops. Continue making single crochets until you reach the end of the row. Refer back to the amount of chains you wrote down to make sure you have the same number of stitches in each row. Once you reach the end of the row, chain 1 and turn your work. Skip the chain 1 and single crochet into the back loop only of the next stitch. Repeat this until the end of the row. Again, refer back to the number of chains you wrote down to make sure you have the same number of stitches in each row. When you get to the end of the row, chain 1 and turn your work. Continue making rows by repeating row 2 until your panel is the length of measurement B. This time while measuring, you're going to stretch your panel. Fold your panel in half and line up the 2 edges. You're going to slip stitch from the back loop only on the right side into the stitch right across on the left side. So place your hook through both stitches, yarn over, and then pull through all 3 loops that are on your hook. Repeat this until the end of the row. Once your 2 edges are connected, prepare your measuring tape. You are going to chain the length of measurement C. While measuring, lie your chain down flat, don't stretch it. Create 3 turning chains. Skip the 3 turning chains and double crochet into the 4th stitch. So yarn over, hook through the stitch, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Make 1 more double crochet into the same stitch. This is our first cluster, so the 3 turning chains counted as the first double crochet. Chain 1. Now we are going to skip 2 stitches and crochet into the 3rd stitch. So make 3 double crochets into this stitch to complete 1 cluster. Once the cluster is complete, chain 1, skip 2 stitches, and make another cluster into the 3rd stitch. Continue doing this all the way until the end of the row. Skip the last 2 chains at the end of the row and crochet 3 chains into the round. You're going to find a gap, place your hook through it, yarn over, and pull through the loops on your hook. Do this 3 times and turn over your work. These 3 chains you're making into the round are going to be your first double crochet for your next cluster once we turn our work around. Now you're going to make 2 double crochets into the large gap to the left of the 3 chains you made into the round. This is how we're going to complete our first cluster. Once the cluster is complete, chain 1. Now you are going to make 3 double crochets into the next large gap. Then chain 1. Continue making clusters at every large gap until you reach the end of the row. Once you complete your last cluster and chain 1, you're going to make 1 double crochet in between the 2nd and 3rd double crochet of the last cluster of your foundation chain. This is going to create a nice clean straight edge at the bottom of our body panel. Chain 3 and turn your work. The chain 3 will count as our first double crochet. Make 2 more double crochets into the large gap to complete the cluster. Then chain 1. Make 3 double crochets into the next large gap. Then chain 1. Continue making clusters until the end of the row. Once you've made your last cluster and chain 1, you're going to chain 3 into the round. So again, finding a gap in the round, put your hook through, yarn over, pull through the loop. Repeat this 2 more times. Then turn your work. Repeat rows 1 and 2 to complete the round. I'll meet you again when it's time to complete the last row before the end of the round. I have 1 row left before completing the body panel, so let's do that one together. Make 2 more double crochets into the large gap to complete the cluster. Then chain 1. Make 3 double crochets into the next large gap. Then chain 1. Continue making clusters until the end of the row. Once you've made your last cluster and chain 1, you are going to chain 3 into the round. Then turn your work. Now it's time to connect the back edge of the body panel together. Complete your cluster by making 2 double crochets into the large gap. Then chain 1. Now grab the other edge and make a cluster into the first large gap. Then chain 1. Now grab the other edge and make a cluster into the next large gap. Then chain 1. Continue this pattern until the end of the row. I'll meet you back to crochet the last cluster. Once you complete your last cluster, you'll notice how you have 1 cluster on each side sticking out but no large gap. What you're gonna do is make 1 double crochet between the second and third double crochet of the cluster, then chain 1, switch to the other side and repeat the same steps. So make 1 double crochet into the second and third double crochet of that cluster, then chain 1 and cut your yarn and pull the yarn through to secure your project. Now it's time to create the sleeves. Try on your top and find a halfway point. Mark it with a stitch marker. Then determine where you want your sleeve to start and also mark that point with a stitch marker. Count how many rows are between your 2 stitch markers. To make sure the layout of our top is clean, we're going to use the connecting seam at the back as our middle point and mark it with a stitch marker. Then we're going to count the amount of rows that were between our first 2 stitch markers and mark that with a stitch marker. We're going to repeat this on the other side of our middle point. Grab your project from the middle point and fold it in half. Lie it down flat and mark the other side with a stitch marker. Now open up your project so that your newest stitch marker is in the middle and count the same number of rows to mark the beginning of your sleeve. To begin crocheting our sleeves, make a slip knot. Remove the stitch marker marking the beginning of your sleeve. Place your hook through the row your stitch marker was in and pull the slip knot through. Now chain the length of measurement D. Just a reminder, the measurement calculations for the sleeves can be found in the written pattern link down below. Count how many chains you made and write it down. To connect our sleeve to the back of the top, we're going to find the stitch marker marking the beginning of the sleeve, stick our hook through the row, and pull the yarn through with a slip stitch. So yarn over and pull through all the loops on your hook. Now that your sleeve is connected to both the front and back of your top, we're going to make 2 more slip stitches into the round. Once you've made 2 more slip stitches in the round, you can turn over your work. The first 3 chains are the slip stitches you made in the round, so you're going to make your first cluster at the 6th stitch. Then chain 1, skip 2 stitches and make another cluster in the 3rd stitch. Then chain 1. Continue making clusters in every 3rd stitch until you reach the end of the row. Once you reach the end of the row, you're going to skip your last 2 chains and make 3 slip stitches into the round. Then turn your work. The 3 slip stitches you made in the round will count as your first double crochet, so make 2 more double crochets in the first large gap to complete your first cluster. Then chain 1. Make a cluster into the next large gap. Then chain 1. Continue making clusters into each large gap until you reach the end of the row. Once you reach the end of the row, you're going to make 3 slip stitches into the round, then turn your work. Continue repeating row 2 until you have a total of 6 rows. I'm at the end of row 6, so I'm going to finish my last cluster. And chain 1, but when I get to the round, I'm only going to make 1 slip stitch and then turn my work. Slip stitch through the first large gap and cluster. Make 1 cluster into the large gap, then chain 1. Continue this pattern until you have one large gap left. Essentially, what we're doing to create the winged effect of the sleeve is we're decreasing on both sides of our sleeve. I'm completing the last cluster of row 7. Now I'm going to chain 1 and turn my work. Slip stitch through the first cluster, first large gap, and second cluster. Make a cluster into the large gap. Then chain 1. Continue making clusters until you have one large gap left. Once you complete your last chain 1, turn your work. Now you're going to continue repeating row 8 until you have 2 clusters left. We will do the last cluster together at the end to create the pointed tip of our sleeve. So just to recap, you're going to slip stitch through the first cluster, the first large gap, and the second cluster. Then you're going to make your first cluster into the second large gap, chain 1. Repeat this until you have one large gap left. After your last chain 1, you'll turn over your work. So continue decreasing on both sides until you have a triangle shaped sleeve. I have 2 clusters left, so I'm going to finish up my last chain 1 and turn over my work. Now what we're going to do is slip stitch through the first cluster. Now make one cluster through the large gap. Once you complete your cluster, you're going to make 2 slip stitches on the side of the last double crochet of your cluster. Now slip stitch through the second cluster of your row. All that's left to do is chain 1, grab your scissors, cut your yarn, and pull the yarn through. Repeat this sleeve process on the other side of your top to complete the second sleeve. Cut a strand of yarn a few inches longer than the length of measurement A. Thread your tapestry needle with the yarn you cut. Weave your tapestry needle through every other stitch of the row beside your middle mark. When you reach the end of the row, fully pull your needle through. Weave your tapestry needle through the row on the other side of your middle mark. Pull your needle all the way through. Grab both ends of your yarn and push down the bust panel to create the cinched neckline. Tie 2 knots to secure the cinch. Now it's time to create the back ties. Mark the second large gap from the top of the folded edge of your sleeve with a stitch marker. Create a slip knot. Pull the slip knot through the gap that you marked with your stitch marker. Chain 90. Once you've completed your 90 chains, chain 1. This is going to be your turning chain. Now we're going to crochet in the 3rd loop. So you're going to flip your chain around and you're gonna see these semicircle bumps. Those are the loops we're going to be slip stitching through. So stick your hook through the loop. Yarn over, pull through all the loops on your hook. Finding the next loop, placing our hook through it, yarn over, and pulling through all the loops on our hook. Continue this until the end of the row. I'm at my last slip stitch at the end of my chain 90. To finish off our strap, we're going to make 1 single crochet in the large gap that we marked with our stitch marker. So yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through all the loops on your hook. Now we're going to chain 1, cut your yarn, and pull the yarn through. Grab your tapestry needle and weave in all of the ends of your project. Congratulations! Your Wisteria top is officially complete. If you do share yours on social media, please make sure to tag me at Cassandra X Paz on TikTok or Instagram. I would love to see how your Wisteria top turns out. If you enjoyed the tutorial, please make sure to give it a thumbs up, and if you did end up downloading the pattern, please leave a review on my website. If you want to learn how to crochet more cute and easy designs like this one, I highly recommend you subscribe. And on that note, I will see you in my next crochet tutorial. Bye!